Search and destroy. Defend the objective.
How about that coward die? Oh! Dude, look.
Get ready for the next round. Search and destroy. Defend the objective.